Welcome to the Torchcast, the only podcast that comes with a free coupon for lemonade. Today I sat down with Dylan and Kraig. Dylan just won student government president, and Kraig was his campaign manager. So I wanted to hear what they had to say about that, and we had a few other things come up that we talked about. This is my first Torchcast, so bear with me as I get all the technical stuff, sorted out. But I hope you enjoy the show. Thanks for listening. Welcome back to the Torchcast. Today, with me as promised, I have Kraig Hoff and Dylan Tantalo, the student government president, and his campaign manager / right-hand man. Would you say that's fair?
That's very fair, yes.
Thank you, Kip, for having us on today.
Yes, thanks, Kip.
It's my pleasure. So, I'll start with you, Dylan. Let's talk a little bit about your major. What is that?
It's criminal justice. I've been at Ferris for 4 years now. At first, I was in the law enforcement track for the first 2 years when I came to Ferris. And then I switched over to generalist due to some medical problems with my eye. But now I plan to pursue my master's degree for the next 2 years here. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
What's your master's degree going to be in?
Criminal justice administration.
Oh, nice. Are you going to run for sheriff someday?
Probably not.
All right. What about you, Kraig?
I also study criminal justice. I'm a transfer student, so I started here last year. And then I graduate this May as well. I recently accepted a job in an intermediate school district in St. Clair County, which is where I'm from, a little town called Marysville. Mm-hmm. And I've been looking at graduate programs, and right now I'm leaning toward the University of Cincinnati, and that'll be a master's degree in criminal justice as well.
Cool. I love Cincinnati.
Beautiful city.
It really is.
Yes.
It's basically in Kentucky, as I like to say.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so Dylan, you just won student government president.
Correct.
And I want to know a little bit about what your platform was for your campaign. I know you talked about it before, but so what was your platform?
Well, one of the things that we wanted to do was just increase that transparency. We had a student issue survey go out, I'd say 5-6 weeks ago, and one of the issues that were highlighted in there was some students saying, "What is student government?"
Mm-hmm.
or "What have you guys done this year?" So when I see a few of those comments, we had over 600 responses. It is kind of disheartening to see that,
mm-hmm.
and so that's one of the things that we plan on doing. For next year, we have a few things planned, such as trying to do like an e-newsletter monthly. My vice president for next year, Josh Oshesky,
mm-hmm.
he live streamed the debate, and so what we were thinking of is using our social media to do that too,
mm-hmm.
To live stream all the General Assembly meetings. With all of our students being busy with classes and work and other activities that they're involved in,
Mm-hmm.
They might not be able to go to student government meetings, and so we want to bring the meetings to them.
Right.
Also, what we ran on was doing some structural changes in student government, and then also some external changes too,
mm-hmm.
just trying to do that more promotional outreach.
Mm-hmm.
So we are going to be hitting heavy with social media push next year, and then internally just doing a few changes so things are more smooth on our side,
mm-hmm.
and then also with the big event being the 10th year anniversary at Ferris, we're really looking forward to that next year.
So it's going to be a big, big event.
It is. It's going to be a big, big, big event.
Right. So, Kraig, you were Dylan's campaign manager.
I was. Really awesome experience. I'd run for public office before. I'd worked on other political campaigns, but to have the opportunity to do something at a university where I think the community is much more, in a sense, tight-knit,
mm-hmm.
was just awesome. Really, we kind of focused on more social media platforms. Our Facebook worked wonders for us. I think it's just a really good overall way to get out to more people.
Right.
And then obviously there's the sense of two-way communication with that too, where if people have questions, they know how to get a hold of you, they know how to reach out to you, so that was important too.
Right. Cool. All right, so let's transition to something a little less serious. I want to know, both of you, what your favorite bar in Big Rapids is.
Well, to be honest with you, I'd have to say Gypsy
Right.
Nickel. And the reason why, one, probably the specials that they have,
mm-hmm.
and then two, I like the ability to go out on the deck
mm-hmm.
during the warmer months and just kind of sit by the river. I remember over the summer just even going there for lunch
Mm-hmm.
and just seeing everybody in the tubes float on by. So I think it offers a nice scenery
Right.
for people who might not want to be in the shooter's atmosphere
Yeah.
or the gate atmosphere with their beer pong.
Mm-hmm.
I too like Gypsy, but I think Gypsy for me is slightly edged out by Schuberg's. Not a super, I guess, hopping place to go, but you won't find a better burger, and it's a great atmosphere to just sit down and talk with your friends. So I love Schuberg's. And then, like Dylan said, there's nothing quite like going outside of Gypsy, so that's
Yeah.
great too.
All right, Craig. So we talked a little bit about what you're doing after school. Dylan, what are your plans?
Well, the reason why I wanted to get a master's degree was to open more doors for myself. So I am looking at Florida. I'm also looking at Wisconsin. I believe there's 43 other states that allow their vision standards for me to be a cop there.
Mm-hmm.
So really, I'm just trying to keep an open mind and an open door.
Gotcha. So you said you were looking at Florida and Wisconsin?
Yes. One, Florida's warmer than Michigan, and I really like the atmosphere down there. Not so much the touristy cities, so
Mhm.
like Daytona, even down in Miami. I think it's just a little too much to what I personally want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I really want to do more community policing aspect, the problem-oriented policing, trying to solve issues. And I think I can accomplish that in the smaller mid-sized departments and
Right.
not the large-sized departments like Miami or New York
Right,
or
for
LA
sure.
or something like that.
I was just in New York over spring break, and there was a cop on every corner with a assault rifle and everything. I don't think they're doing a lot of shaking hands with the butcher or anything like that.
Yeah.
I've had both of you in a class with me before. I think it was corrections we took together.
Yes, it was
Correct.
corrections.
Yes, it was.
Dr.
And,
Eklund.
Yeah, we talked not a ton, but we talked a little bit about the broken windows theory, and of course you guys have experienced that in a lot of different criminal justice classes. But what are your guys' thoughts on that? I don't want to bore all the students that are interested in criminal justice, but I've always been interested in how it works.
Well, I'll go ahead and go first. I think it is something that can manifest, and so when you have that, I guess, for lack of a better term, weakest link, it tends to affect the rest of society, and especially the ones around it first and foremost. So with the broken windows theory, it's, once that first window gets broken, the rest of the community is going to start having some issues too, in terms of more houses in the community having windows broken. And so it's almost like a disease that continues on. And it relates to crime in that fashion to where, once you start having a few abandoned homes in cities, more and more are more likely to pop up.
Right.
Which I completely agree with Dylan. And the interesting thing, too, I think that's why problem-oriented policing is so important. If you can look at how you want to address vacant homes, for instance, in a town, certain plans will allow you to mitigate crime from addressing those homes. And that's even interesting in, say, if there's a certain apartment complex in Big Rapids known for parties, you could theoretically, by changing road structures, mitigate crime even more. And that's the interesting thing, to me at least, about problem-oriented policing strategies is effecting even one small iota of change can have a larger impact on how crime is affected, and that's very cool to me.
It was really interesting. I've been reading a little bit about Rudy Giuliani and what he did with New York in the 70s and that stuff. So, all right. Well, if there's anything else you guys want to add, now's the time. But I really appreciate you guys being on with me.
Well, thanks for
thank
allowing
you,
us
Kip.
to do this, Kip. And I guess just to end on one note, or maybe more than one, I'm really excited about next year. We have a lot of plans for student government. The cabinet that I've chosen and that I'm in the process of interviewing and choosing hopefully by the end of next week, we're really, really passionate about trying to do things right next year or trying to get things back on track. We spent a lot of time this year on some issues internally that we're dealing with, and then also trying to change our Constitution to have more checks and balances in it. And so I think by taking this year to just try and solve some of those issues and lay a pathway hopefully to success for next year. That next year we'll have an even better year. We'll have a bigger year with the 10th year anniversary, the big event. And then also just trying to build that bridge with students, since apparently there may or may not be a gap. I'm starting to lean towards that. I think there is. So we're hoping to try and especially get out to the incoming freshmen. But no, we are excited for next year.
Cool.
And I would just add that if you ever have any concerns or anyone has concerns, please feel free to approach a member of student government. I mean, really, that's what we're here for, to talk to students about concerns and try to address that. And further, I know Dylan's always in a suit now, seemingly every day, but I promise everyone that he's very approachable and very friendly. So if you ever want to talk to him about anything, please reach out to him. And again, Kip, thanks for having us on today.
Yes, thank you.
It's my pleasure. Thank you guys for coming on. And I can attest, Dylan and Kraig, both of you guys are very friendly, although we may have argued a little bit in our debates.
That's what class is for.
Right.
Educational growth.
Definitely. All right, thanks, guys.
All right, thank you.
So that was Kraig and Dylan. I'm really excited for Dylan to be at the helm of our student government. I think he is going to do a great job. And thank you all for listening. Tune in next semester for weekly Torchcasts with new guests. It's going to be a lot of fun, and hopefully you guys enjoy listening. Thank you.